What's up guys, in this video we're going to experiment a little bit with uploading photos to a free blog on wordpress.com. Now in another video we experimented a little bit with uploading photos to Facebook to kind of examine the compression and resizing that Facebook does. However, I'm also curious about what WordPress.com does to compress and optimize photos. So here I've got some photos that I exported from Lightroom of the Taj Mahal, and they are to sort of complement the one photo that I uploaded for you guys in a previous video. So as you can see, these are very large files. So my first theory is that WordPress is probably going to reject these because of the huge file size. So let's start by trying to upload one of these first. So I'm just going to come down here and go to edit. Once we're able to edit the blog post, I'm going to go below the read more line, which by the way, I did describe for you in another video. And then I'm going to add the photo in right in between. So I hit the enter key and then I'm going to hit the plus sign and add an image. And then I'm just going to take one of the photos and drop it in. And wow guys, that took a while to upload, but it actually took it. So my first theory was wrong. So in order to really see what size it ended up resizing it, if it did at all, we're going to go ahead and just leave that there. But what I want to do is also, so that it appears a little bit larger, I'm going to try to make the image larger here. And as you can see, it actually allowed me to. Or what we can do is go over here and just ask to put the full-size image in. Now, as you can see, that kind of messed things up here, so I'm just going to hit update. And let's see what it looks like on the front end. And guys, it looks like it may have not compressed it at all. It actually took the original image and threw it in there, and that is why it is taking forever to download right now. So guys, I'm not even going to wait for that to download. I can already tell you that this is a terrible idea. So it's clear that WordPress.com doesn't do any kind of compression to these photos, which is a horrible thing. So what we're going to have to do is go ahead and compress these photos ourselves before uploading. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to jump back to edit and go ahead and remove that photo from the site because I just don't want it there anymore. So guys, now I've got all of the images open in Photoshop. Now what I'm going to do is going to go ahead and resize and compress these images based on what I think is a good file size. So what I recommend you do is just head over here to File and then Export As. And then the first thing we're going to do is take the long edge and we're going to resize that to 2400 pixels. In my opinion, 2400 pixels is a decent size to be able to get a nice crisp image on your website, as well as providing the user really good detail no matter what screen they're on. Remember that these really large images appear especially good on Retina screens, which are those high resolution screens. So now that I've resized that image to 2400 pixels, we're going to drop the quality down to 70%. Now that's brought the file size down to about 1.2 megabytes. I still think we need to bring it down just a little bit further. So I'm going to go to 20%. And now you can see it's brought down to 300K. Now if I zoom into this photo a little bit, it doesn't look like we've lost much detail. So as I move around this photo, I don't think we've lost a lot of detail. So if I go back up to 70%, you don't see this image get a whole lot sharper. So it looks like that we're not experiencing much loss. So actually at 20%, I think we're okay. And as you can see, the photo still looks just as stunning as it would at 100%. So I'm going to go ahead and export that. And I'm just going to override the file that was there before because I don't really need the old one. And then I'm going to repeat the steps for the rest of these photos. Alright guys, now I've got all of the images exported, and as you can see the file sizes are much smaller than they were before, but the images are still large and the quality isn't so bad. You're still getting some very nice stunning photos. So I'm going to go ahead and drop in the first photo here just to kind of show you how much quicker this will now perform. And boom, that was much faster than before. I skipped it the last time, but I want to say it probably took a good minute and a half for the photo to upload and for WordPress to kind of process it. But as you can see, the photo's in great shape here. And as a matter of fact, I'm just going to go ahead and throw it in at full size. And then I'm going to add another block here, but this time I'm going to add a gallery block and upload the rest of the images to that gallery block. Now this is 5 images, and as you can see, boom, 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 they're going very quickly. So it's done a nice job there, and uploaded those photos. And then I'm going to add the lightbox effect there. Maybe make these all full-size images as well. And let's see if it gives me any other options here. I'm going to do a full width gallery here, as well as here if I'm given it. There we go. So there we go. Now I have like these full width images here to give this a really nice look. Let's see how that looks. So there we go. And I've got some really large images. Now I did the lightbox effect here, so what that means is when you click the image, it shows you the image, and then it shows you some of the EXIF settings here. I probably should have changed the file name to be something a little bit more friendly. So the last thing I'm going to show you as well. Now, oh yeah, the one thing I forgot to mention is that this is a very important step for SEO and for the organic performance of your website. Google does determine your ranking, or at least factor in the page load time as well as the size, the file size of the content being loaded. So if you're loaded up with a bunch of images that are just way huge, they are not going to rank you as well. So be mindful of that when you upload your photos. There isn't a maximum number of photos that will hurt, or a minimum number that you must have, or a maximum that will hurt you. These are just, it's up to you. You can keep as many or as few as possible. Just be mindful that the more you increase the size, the more that other factors will have to matter for you, and you'll have to focus on them. So if you absolutely cannot keep the file size of your page down, then you're gonna have to focus on things like the content, like the copy on your site and the backlinks and some of these other SEO factors that I may or may not talk about in a future video. However, this is a very important SEO step. So making sure your photos are compressed are very important for SEO. The last thing I'm going to show you, which is also an important SEO feature, is what's known as alt tags. And so in this case, if you click the photo, you'll see that there is a blank here for alt text. You want to put this in, you want to put in here some very relevant text that has to do with the content on your page, but also what's in the photo. So I'll just say beautiful photo of the Taj Mahal. And then moving on, we'll go over to one of these photos and we will add maybe the caption here is peak of Taj Mahal. I don't know what that thing is actually called, but I'm just calling it a peak. Taj Mahal fountain, Taj Mahal details, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to go ahead and update that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you where alt tags appear. So if I go over here, and I'm using Google Chrome right now, I right click and I inspect this photo. What I'm going to see is a bunch of stuff here, but somewhere buried in here, you'll see this alt tag that says beautiful photo of the Taj Mahal. Now, Google actually picks this up as copy. So you may want to get a little more descriptive with the text, but make sure it's relevant to your site, just like everything else. Make sure the title, make sure the description, make sure the copy on your site is all relevant to the topic at hand, including the alt tags that are on your photos. So guys, there you have it. Real quick, I'm sorry if I droned on a little bit, but this is a very simple way to improve the appearance of your website, obviously with a lot of imagery, but also to use those images to your benefit with an SEO tip that I gave you about alt tags. Now, if you guys have any questions at all, as always, don't hesitate to comment in the comment section below. I am more than happy to answer your questions. As a matter of fact, this video and the fact that I'm showing you this actually came from one of those questions. And as always, guys, if you like this content, don't forget to hit the like button and of course subscribe to my channel and ring the bell for notifications. Before I forget, I also wanted to show you, and I mentioned this at the beginning of the video, that there is a way to compress your photos on a self-hosted WordPress site. Now, this is my self-hosted WordPress site, and I recommend using this plugin right here. It's called Smush. And I'm not going to install it because I actually have the Pro version, as you can see, Smush Pro. But even the free version, it will optimize and compress your photos in a lossless way to make sure that you are as SEO compliant as possible. So let me show you guys what that looks like a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and just upload a photo to my media library. So I'm going to go ahead and upload a photo, one of the photos that we just worked with, to my media library. Let me go ahead and get the largest one, which is this 341 kilobyte photo. And I'm going to throw it in there. And I'm going to show you what Smush does. So as you can see, after this photo has reached 100%, it's still taking a little time. And that's because Smush was doing its work afterwards. So now if I go to my media browser, so as you can see, the image I just uploaded is right here, and it's actually gone down to 333K. Now, this may not seem like a big deal, but if you work with much larger images, it will actually do a much better job. And actually, since I'm already here, I might as well demonstrate that to you. I'm going to use one of my images from my Facebook image test. This one is actually 32.5 megs, and I'm going to upload that one. So I'm back to the upload screen, and I'm going to drag and drop this in. And this one's going to take much longer. So I'm going to skip to the good part for you guys. Okay, so now that's uploaded and processed. So let's jump back to the media browser. And as you can see, the file size started at, what was it? 32.5 megabytes. And now it's down to only 780.2 kilobytes. And it tells you here that it actually reduced it by 94%. So Smush does an incredible job of resizing and compressing your images, and in a lossless way. So as you can see, the image still looks great, but it's just a much smaller file size. Of course, you know, there was like 8,000 something pixels. Now it's down to 2,400. So it did resize it. And again, I set my Smush to go down to 2,400. As I recommended to you guys. I follow my own recommendations as well. So there you guys go. So here's how to, it's a Smush plugin that does this. So I just had to get that in because I actually forgot. So guys, once again, like this video if you found it helpful. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more. And of course, ring the bell for notifications in order to know when there's more. Thanks, guys.